Well, good morning, everybody. Well, good morning, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and it is Thursday. Yay! Thursday. I don't work Fridays. It's Thursday, and it is... Wow, that's interesting. When I left my house, it was 6 degrees. I drive 100 yards, and it's now 4 degrees. So let's work with 4. Okay. If you got anywhere close to 39, you're doing well. 4 degrees Canadian is 39 in America. And it is a totally overcast day. I cannot see one iota of sky. It's just all totally socked in cloud. Yuck. But it's not snowing. Yay. And there we are with another, I didn't do it intentionally, but another correction of my thought pattern. Remember yesterday we were talking about coping mechanisms. Well, you know, that's what I do all the time. I hear a negative sort of thought, and then immediately correct it with a positive one, because you know, you'll be really surprised to hear, if you fill your mind full of negative thoughts, you're gonna feel like shit. I mean, I'm sorry, you are. You know, if you hate everybody and think the world's against you and mistrust everybody and life's not fair and whine all day long, and then guess what? You're not going to be a happy camper. You got no hope. So they call it, I think, cognitive therapy. What you need to do is reframe what you're saying, and find things that you are grateful for. You know, like breathing. That's always a good one, I think, when I wake up in the morning. Oh, look at that, I'm breathing. And then, you know, you don't have to tell lies. You don't have to say, oh, life is great, if you don't think that. Just correct it with things that you do believe. So one of the first things, if you want to improve your coping mechanism and your attitude, is one of the first things is to write a list of what you are grateful for. Now, most people just go, oh, I can't be bothered to do that. Well, hello? Are you surprised about the fact that you're not feeling so great? You can't be bothered to do something that will make you feel a lot better. You just can't be bothered. Well, I'd like to suggest that those people who have a pretty good attitude on life and those people who achieve quite a lot have the one thing in common. They can be bothered. They can be bothered to get up in the morning. They can be bothered to write down lists of positive things about themselves or about other people. They can brainstorm. They can do all these things without feeling that it was a waste of time. They know it is what you need to do in order to improve your life, or to get answers, or to get creative. And if you can't be bothered, then is it also true that you're lazy? because it takes effort to be feeling good. I know somebody who has Tourette's in fact, which is a neurological thing, and his whole comment about life was that every day he gets up and decides whether he's going to have a good day, because every day he could equally well have depression. And I think that's true of all of us to some degree. But I always remember that he said that, and it was just like, wow, yeah. Every day you make that decision. And so you look at life and you go, what achievements did you have today? And if your answer was, well, I really wasn't feeling well, so I didn't get any. So then my next question would be, what did you do? What did you do? And I'm pretty sure that you did something. And one of the things that really helped me when I get down or when I get overwhelmed is a trick that I taught myself, because it's the only thing that sometimes used to work for me, which is my job is to keep track of 8 hours a day, not 24, just a work day's worth of time. And then I would literally, most people have got computers today, and most people's computers have got a day timer in it, but who cares if it doesn't? Do it the old-fashioned way on a piece of paper. What time did you get up? And I don't care if that's midday, start tracking then. And the reason most people get up at midday is they don't go to bed until 3 o'clock in the morning, because they're too busy doing stuff to do with screens, you know what I mean? And watching television, watching movies, watching the internet. So the big dilemma that we have in our society at the moment is people having a lack of sleep because of the screens. Anyway, so let's say that you get up at lunchtime. Here's the trick. You start every hour doing something. So if it's the top of the hour, that you go and do something. And I find it really helps if you sort of have a mini goal. Like, for example, Manon and I are both busy working on some major spring cleaning in our bedrooms. And so my goal may be, the left-hand corner of my bedroom. So that the main areas are pretty good now, but I've just got these couple of corners that are causing me problems. And so, and what you say to yourself is, all right, so I woke up at 8 o'clock, so I'm going to give myself an hour to get dressed. Not an hour to sit and wallow and drink my coffee and turn on my email and da-da-da-da. No, this is called, I'll give myself an hour to get up and get dressed. Because that's the most important thing, is not to lie around all day. The more you move, the more you will want to move. The more you lie in bed doing nothing, the more you'll want to lie in bed doing nothing. If you think other people have got energy, it's because they make energy. Right? Oh, you're so lucky you have so much energy. Well, actually, I don't. I don't have a lot of energy. But the energy I have, I try and use quite well. So, that's what I do. Start each hour. Okay, fine, it's now 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, I need to spend half an hour doing whatever. And let's say I'm going to start in the bedroom. I need to spend half an hour in that corner of the bedroom. After I've spent half an hour, I can sit down for half an hour, or lie down for half an hour, or whatever. But I need to do half an hour of cleaning up of something first. Now, the next trick is people who have a good attitude on life and are happy people are inclined to have good discipline. So they can actually do half an hour of something and then stop. They don't give themselves all the, oh, well, I'm just going to read 2 more chapters. Oh, I'm just going to, oh, I am just. No, they go, it's 9 o'clock. Onward. Next task. And most successful and happy people are pretty task-oriented too. So, they will move on to the next task. And that's really that simple. If you did that for 8 hours in a day, you would not only have got achievement, but you would have got the pleasure of achievement, because one of the things that people don't realize is when you achieve those little goals, it's amazing what it does for your endorphins, your sort of happy juice. It's amazing what it does for that. And if you don't believe it, ask Manon. We do the 10-minute little challenges because it helps us feel better. And that is part of it. So, coping is about what are you prepared to do. Yesterday we talked about the fact that if the world is sending you negative messages, for example, the plane crash that we had this week and the 2 buildings, that one building turned into 2 buildings destroyed yesterday, and you hear about death and destruction. And if that seriously affects you, then the most important thing you can do is to reframe what you're thinking about. You need to let that go and move on with your life. Not let that suck you in, remember? And so here we are 24 hours later. We still don't know what happened to that plane. They are now saying, it could have flown on for another 4 hours somewhere. Why wasn't it spotted? Well, because its transponder was turned off. Its little beepy noise that tells everybody where it is was turned off. Would that be turned off by accident? No. Only 2 things could turn that off. One, a catastrophe that literally vaporized the plane could do it. Or somebody could turn it off physically. And really, that's what we're down to with this airplane. Which of the 2 happened? Because if somebody turned it off physically, they could have flown the plane on. It could even have been the pilot. And in which case, there is a very, very slim hope that those passengers could still be alive. Unlikely, but there's slim hope. And I'm pretty sure that if I were a relative of one of those poor people, that I would hold on to that hope. I would hold on to the hope that they were still alive until I had proof that they weren't. And the reason I would is because the people that keep getting interviewed, the people who know these planes, the pilots and everything else, go, there is no way a 777 drops out of the sky and there isn't any debris. Never happened. There is no way for it to happen. Even with the plane that supposedly disappeared leaving South America, it took 2 days for the debris to start floating up, but it came up. So if you want to cope better, do better. You've heard me say many, many times, you don't think your way out of depression, from my experience. You have to do your way out. And so I would encourage you to not sit and try and think your way out of a coping situation, out of a trauma of some sort. You need balance. And I guess the most important part of balance then is that you do get a good night's sleep. And if you are too traumatized or too upset with whatever it is that you're trying to cope with, if you are having major problems with that upsetting you, and you're not getting sleep, then you may want to go for an over-the-counter type ZQuil or something like that, something that will just make you a little drowsy. Or, if it's easy for you to see your doctor, just tell your doctor. And my experience with doctor is that they're inclined to give you what I call a sleeping pill immediately, which is pretty heavy stuff. So a lot of us don't want to do that. So I would rather actually I must admit, I take cold medicine if I'm having a night where I can't quite sleep. I'll just take half a dose of cold medicine, because they've normally worked quite well. Alright, so make sure you get enough sleep. What's enough? You know what enough is for you. And don't kid yourself that it's 3 or 4 hours, because it isn't. And if you're consistently sleeping 12 to 14, that also is not healthy. Good. So what's our good thought for the day? I think the good thought for the day might be, can you make other people's days better? Can you help other people cope? As you know, I'm a great believer in paying forward. So sometimes the best way to learn a skill like this is to actually practice it on other people. So have a look at your people around you. Have a look at, your children. Have a look at whoever it is that might be in your life. And as soon as you hear a negative thought, just try reframing it. Oh gosh, I'm so tired today. Oh, then maybe you want to sit down and have a 5-minute nap. Would that work for you? The whiners, right? Oh, I'm so sore today. Are you? Oh, that's wicked. Can I get you something? See, what I found with most people who are in the complaining mode and the negative thought pattern mode is if you actually offer to help them, that they don't want to help. See, they'd rather stay complaining. Now, if you try that on people and you can hear it for yourself, it makes you chuckle. I think it was Laurie that first taught me the one which is, oh gosh, I've got a stomachache. What did the doctor say? What? Well, when you went to the doctor, what did he say? Well, I haven't been to the doctor. Oh, so it's not that bad. It's very good, actually. It works very well. Well, actually, yes, it is. Then you need to be going to a doctor. In other words, don't tolerate people sitting and whining at you. Laurie used to be really good at that. I always used to love the way she could do that. So, give that some thought, see if it helps. Practice on other people. And above all, know you're not the only one. From my experience, getting these little things in place when you are not coping well requires constant readjustment in the day, because you will get sucked right back in, sometimes by the hour, sometimes by the minute. Life will try and suck you back in. And so I would ask you to really readjust that thinking. In the same way as I said, every hour check in what your next task is. Every hour you may want to check in what your mentality is. Oh, I can't be bothered to do this anymore. Well, hello, that's why you're feeling like you are. You can't be bothered to live. You just want to exist. And sometimes I found when I was really struggling that I'd have to readjust my thinking sort of every 15 minutes, never mind once an hour. It was quite scary. So I hope you cope better today, and I hope if you are one of those people that's coping perfectly well, thank you, maybe you can help somebody else cope better by passing some of these ideas on to them. I'm a great believer in paying it forward, as you know, and I assure you that life will bring you plenty of examples of people not coping well or complaining well or being victim. People will bring you plenty of examples of those every day. I had a really nice compliment from somebody at work yesterday. Which I thought was really cute. It had something to do with whenever she had a problem. She's not technically the most savvy person in the world. Whenever she had a problem and she came to me, I would always jump up and help her, or at least tell her, I'm just in the middle of something, but as soon as I finished, I'll come and look at it and do that. And she seemed to think I'm such a nice person for that. Well, again, I'm really not such a noble person. And what I keep trying to explain to people is if you do nice things for people, it makes you feel good. Okay, the guy has just parked his car and doesn't deserve any medals for brilliant parking, but I'll do my best next time. All right, everybody, I hope you have a great day coping, and I hope you have a great day helping other people cope. And when all else fails, remember a hug goes down really well. It's just Dear Mama Sal saying bye-bye for now.